Some of the effects that we're going to be using in our sequence here today include water cannons. Now those water cannons can be pressurized up to 100 pounds per square inch. We also have bullets, which will be programmed and timed to match the continuity of the visuals and eventually the pattern of our sound effects. Now last, and probably the most important physical effect that we're going to be using here today is fire, which must be ignited at the precise moments, because it takes a lot of time and work to reset the charges for those explosives. But of course though guys, the number one consideration for the timing of any of the effects that I just showed you is always going to be the safety of the actors on the set, and that is where you come in. All right everyone, let's hear it for Rich. Now Rich, you have been cast as my mechanic. You're going to star of your very own scene here today, all right? Now your scene happens to take place down beneath the waterline inside the engine room of our PT boat. However, Rich, I'm not going to make you assume, all right? If you follow Shelby, she's going to get you set up. Now today, guys, we're going to film two different scenes, but not exactly in the order that they appear in our script. Now many of today's films are shot out of sequence, and that can make it difficult for the actor because that means they have to react to things that we haven't even filmed yet. But that's where my job comes in as the director, to provide the actor with the motivation for that scene. All right, Rich, here's the setup. On action, that phone to your right is going to begin to buzz right before 800 gallons of water dumped from those two tanks fly down that chute and slam right into you. All right, feeling motivated? I'm glad you feel that way. I really am, because guys, it's actually going to be about 1,000 gallons of ice cold water slamming into Rich. But there's a fine line between motivation and fear. All right, roll playback. Remember, we have just lost both your engines and action. Go ahead and pick up that phone, Rich. It's your captain calling. Let him know you lost both your engines, and hopefully he'll tell you all about the water. And cut. Let's give him a big round of applause. Now, just in case any of you guys were wondering, that is why we call it a physical effect. Now, Rich, you did such a great job in that scene. Now I have one more small role for you that I think you're perfect to play, all right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to remain seated, stare dramatically out into your audience, and act dry. That is an excellent start. I'll give you just a few more minutes to perfect that role. In the meantime, we're going to take your shot and we're going to add it to the next and see how the entire sequence plays out. And the next scene takes place right here on our PT boat, so let's meet the rest of our brave crew.
Let me introduce you to your Captain Nate and your wild and wacky deckhand Kirsten. Give them a round of applause. Have fun set and cruise standing by.
Thank you, Shelby. All right, quiet on the set, please, guys. Roll playback. Now remember, you're on a routine surveillance mission, okay? And action. All right, Captain, go to pick up your binoculars and scan the skies for enemy planes. Deckhand, clean that boat. I want to see it spotless. But what's this, Captain? You spot an enemy fighter coming through the bomb. Now my deckhand's scared. She's stunned. She's running around in a circle. Show me panic. You're under attack. And there we go. But she's in trouble because that plane's coming in for another run. Captain, spin that wheel and get that boat after them. It's too late, Captain. You lost your engines. Go to pick up that phone and call your mechanic. But Deck, what is that off the starboard? Point to the water. Get your captain's attention. Let him know all about the torpedo. At this point in time, my captain has probably learned that the hood on the back of that jacket works a whole lot better when it's actually on top of your head. But this thing, guys, you take a deep breath. You begin to relax because you think it's over. Let's realize that this is an action sequence and I still need a grand finale. That's when you hear more planes. Guys, look up to the sky and point. There's an enemy bomber squadron coming in at 12 o'clock. Bombs away, everybody hit the deck. Torpedoes headed straight towards you. Lucky for you, they passed underneath the boat, and now they're headed towards your audience, guys. Point to your audience and tell them to look out. And cut. Let's give them a big round of applause. And now, guys, we're going to take a moment to see what that entire sequence looks and sounds like. Once we have some computer-generated images, a few lines of pre-recorded dialogue, and an exciting musical score. So if you direct your attention and your cameras to the overhead monitors, as we are now proud to present Harbor Attack.
Can't do it.
We'd like to thank you all for being a part of Harbor Attack Us and our special effects water tank. Now, if you're waiting for one of our brave volunteers, please remain right where you are. They'll be with you in just a second. For everyone else, you're going to head to